What's up, guys? James from Twisted Assisted here. I was just going through my own personal collection today, and I came across these two multi-tools and thought it would be worth doing a video on. Here we have, on the face of it, two identical tools, both made by Schrade. If you're familiar with it, it's the Schrade Tough Tool, which is one of my personal favorite multi-tools. And it's mainly quite dear to me because it isn't a Leatherman. Leatherman make great multi-tools, but they do kind of straddle the multi-tool world like a colossus. So it's always refreshing to see another brand there. Here we have two different incarnations. We have one that was made in the mid-90s, and then we have one that was made in about 2015, something like that. One has been made in America and one has been made in China. So I thought it would be instructive to do a bit of a comparison video today. As you can see straight off the bat, the USA one has got this really rather nice leather sheath, leather pouch for it. It's riveted, it's sewn. And the Chinese incarnation has got a kind of a ballistic nylon version. It's, it'll do, but it is clearly inferior to the American one in almost every way. In my opinion, between 1980 and the late 90s was a bit of a golden age for American knife manufacture. And the Schrade USA factory was in Ellenville in New York, and that was at its heyday. They were employing 500 to 600 workers. All of the knives were ground there. They were heat treated in-house. All polishing and grinding was often done by hand, and they had a large scale assembly line production. And it was very sad when that actually closed in 2004. And essentially it was due to imports from the Far East and the price war that kind of ensued. They weren't able to make these at a price that was competitive to the Far East tools. So that was really the death knell for Schrade USA. Let's open it up and have a look. So on the face of it, they both look very, very similar indeed. You can see that this design is quite unusual, and it's another reason why I love it. It's just really, really quirky. You got a real handful there. That's a good size pair of pliers, wire cutter, and you can see there Schrade USA. It's been riveted construction there, and the Chinese have got these rather crude T10 torque screws there. You can always tell a knife by its age, really, because if you pick up a Spyderco that's rivets, you can pretty much peg it to when it was manufactured. One of the notable things about the Tough Tool is that when it's folded down and closed, you can still take out one of the blades and use it. So you can't do that with a Leatherman. And I think that's just a really cool feature. Let's just compare. I'm sure that anybody who knows their multi-tools, the big leveler, the big comparison of whether or not you've got a cheap or an expensive multi-tool is whether the saw actually works. You can see we've got a fully functioning saw that's fit for purpose. It's sharp. And then you have this on the Chinese version, which it merely looks like a saw. It will not perform as a saw. If you're wanting to go through a tree branch or something like that, it's just not going to happen with this. It's blunt. It's very crudely made. The price difference between these, I mean, these went out of production a long time ago, but I would think that they're probably 4 to 5 times more expensive than the kind of the $30 Chinese version. Also, one of the nice features of the Tough Tool is you can lock the blades by just opening them, and this bar, there's a notch, the bar falls into it, and to unlock them, you just press down on one of these tools here, and it's very simple. It just disengages that bar. You can see it moving there, and it closes. There's all the kind of tools that you would expect to find on a multi-tool. We've got Phillips screwdrivers. There are flat blade screwdrivers as well. We've got all manner of scribes. There's a file there. The one thing that we don't have on this particular incarnation, which I've kind of narrowed it down to the sort of mid-90s, this particular one, but please correct me if I'm wrong, is that there isn't a pair of nail scissors in there. So that's really the only thing that that is missing from here, from the lineup of tools that it has. There were about 4 or 5 incarnations, so depending on how old your Tough Tool is, you can they've switched out some of the tools. And let's have a look at the knife. So here we have a kind of a clip point knife. It's got a part serration there. It's actually very sharp, because with this knife it's chisel ground, so it's the secondary bevel was only on one side, and as you know, a razor or a chisel edge is the sharpest edge. So that's a really nice, wicked sharp knife there. Let's get the corresponding one out on the Chinese version. There we are. There's just such a difference between the two. You can just tell. If you're with rivets, if your multi-tool is getting a little bit loose, then you just put it on a top of a small anvil or something and give it a few taps, and that will just stiffen up the action. But with this, I haven't got the space to do it here, but you can deploy the pliers with a wrist flick, and it almost operates like a butterfly knife. It's a really good tool to take out your pocket and then to deploy one-handed. So in 2004, the Schrade company went into administration. It was purchased by a company called Taylor Brands, and they then outsourced all of the manufacture to China and Taiwan, and they were kind of riding on the back of the name, and all of those knives were manufactured out there, and there was a shall we say, a significant dip in quality. Just everything from heat treat to the type of steel used. I mean, these two knives, they look very similar, but there really is, you know, on an atomic level, a big difference in quality and in the steel used. And it was very sad when the Ellenville factory shut down in 2004. A lot of the stock that they had, a lot of the blade blanks and things like that, were sold to Blue Ridge Knives, and it's only within the last 5 years that they stopped selling them on their site. And I was able to pick up quite a few blade blanks and fixings. I didn't manage to get any back springs. I think they were the most sought after things. They all were sold first. But yeah, my collection of Schrade blades, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. I think it would be nice to honor the brand by incorporating some of those blades with maybe make a few slip joints, and yeah, that would be cool to do. But that is a video for another day. It is. I will just say before I wrap up here that Taylor Brands relinquished the Schrade name, I believe, in about 2020, and it's gone to the American Outdoor Company. And on some of their premium lines, the manufacture of Schrade knives has gone back to America. So that's actually a really encouraging thing to see. Between 1980 to the late 90s was a real heyday for American knives. You know, there were brands like Buck, Case, Camillus, Gerber. There was a lot going on there. SOG. All of the knives were either made in the USA or they got the blades from Sekai City, Japan. They were just fantastic quality. So I'm very sort of sentimental about that period in time. But I think people these days will appreciate quality knives that are made, you know, in the origin country, USA made, and people will pay a little bit more for them. But thanks very much for watching. I hope that was interesting to you. All the best.